Today, I want to talk about mindset and meditation for mamas. Mindset is a large part of what I do, and if it's not part of your life, then even the term mindset might feel foreign. And so I want to break it down a little bit for you today. Changing your mindset is one of the most powerful tools that we have to shape our experience, to better our lives, because our thoughts are extremely powerful. And if we get caught up in negative thinking, it really is going to determine the trajectory of our lives. You really are what you think. I've learned this personally over the last couple of years because I've really been able to manage my mindset in a new way. And the most powerful tool that I've had to do that is meditation. First, before we get into meditation, what I want to explain to you is a couple of aspects of our mind, okay? There are two forces at work at all times. There's the ego mind, which is very business and detail oriented. You know, our ego mind is what allows us to get places on time. It allows us to plan. So there's value in the ego. There's a lot of value in the ego. But unfortunately, because the ego is also very much linked to our fight or flight response, the ego can be responsible for a lot of fear and negative thinking. And if you don't take the time to really study your mind and study your thoughts and study how it affects your behavior, then pretty much you're going to be on autopilot and you're going to allow the ego and the negative thinking to be ruling your experience. So the work that I love doing and teaching is how we can pull away from our ego mind, notice it, but move closer to our authentic self. And that's where meditation comes in, because when we meditate, and I know that meditation can be intimidating for those who haven't started it, and we're so used to constant thoughts in our mind that the idea of quieting down can be foreign. And the first few times you try meditation, you might feel frustrated because you feel like you're not doing it right. And I want to suggest to take all of that pressure out and just get into some sort of practice. I started with guided meditations. And even to this day, guided meditations are really one of my favorite ways to meditate. I will do a seated, just breathing meditation, but I really find a lot of value in my nighttime guided meditations before I go to sleep. And I think that's a really nice, accessible way to start a practice, especially for moms, because you get to just lie down, relax, and listen and let someone else take over. And that feels really nice when you're the one that's doing for everybody all the time. So that could be a suggestion for you to try. And the way that I did it, Hay House, which is a publishing house, has a whole library of free meditations through the Apple Podcasts app. They have a whole library. But, meditation is everywhere these days. You can find it. Headspace is a great app that I know people enjoy. But the Hay House ones are free, and there's a big variety, so you can choose what appeals to you. That's another thing, I have found with different clients, it's been interesting. Some clients respond more to a male voice. Some clients respond more to a female voice. So think about that before you choose a type of meditation. Think about who you feel comforted by. And also I had another client who was more interested in kind of a logical meditation. So Headspace was really good for that person. Some people get into the more spiritual meditations. I love that. But maybe you are more linear thinking than that. And so do some research before you dive in, because if you choose something that's really not going to speak to you, then you can find that you give up too early. And then you're going to miss out on the benefits of meditation. And it's like the most beautiful tool that we have available to us. So don't give up and, really do some research and see what appeals to you before you begin. So the reason why meditation is so beautiful and effective is because once we get past the point of our initial resistance to actually requiring ourselves to quiet the mind, because the ego is going to fight. That ego thinking mind is going to fight to be with you. Because really, one of the functions of this ego mind is to protect you, right? The intention of the ego is good. And we don't want to eradicate it completely. We just want to realize that we are not our ego mind. We are not our fears. We are not our negative thinking. That doesn't need to be who you are. You can make a choice. So the great thing about meditation is once you can get past that initial phase, and it may take you a few tries. I find that guided meditations are great because it kind of lulls you in quicker than just sitting and breathing by yourself. Once you get past that initial phase when you really feel like you're fighting your thoughts, and sometimes I really, in my mind, when a thought comes, I visually imagine my hand swiping it to the side and going back into that middle space. It's just like a visual that I do for myself because the thoughts are going to come. They come to everyone. So I like to have a plan. Another thing that I once did is I imagine that the thought is a piece of aluminum foil, and I just crumple it and toss it to the side. And those are two ways that I have found to just kind of bring myself back when the thoughts come, because they're going to come. So if you keep at it, right? If you keep going, eventually you're going to come to this place, right, where you feel your authentic self. You've calmed the mind, you've calmed the body, you've released tension in your body, and what you've really done is you have released resistance. And you are in your power. That is the place. Once you can find that through meditation, that is a place that you can draw strength from and really use to create anything you want in your life. But I want to talk about this resistance, because what I think a lot of us don't realize is that our suffering, whether it be mental or emotional, is largely due to our resistance to what is. Now, of course, there are people who, really have hard situations in their life that are really challenging and even dangerous, But if you're someone who, when you lift your perspective and you look at your life, you can appreciate and be grateful for the gifts that you have, but you still feel negative all the time. You still get depressed and you don't know why. Well, then resistance could be a factor in your experience. And basically, what we resist persists. So where we put our mind, what we focus on, if we focus on the negative, that's going to grow in our lives. So gratitude comes in here, right? Because what's the opposite of resisting the things that we don't want in our lives? It's being grateful for the things that we do want. So when you find that space in meditation of being calm and still and quiet, and you can feel that you're connecting to something bigger in that moment. And really, it's the universe, and we're all connected to each other. We're connected to the magic that is this beautiful place that we live. In that moment, if you can feel it then it can start to trickle into your life throughout the day. A place of peace, place of non-resistance, of, you know what? Things are okay in this moment. And that's all we have. Presence is also really important to, when we all say, and it's a big buzzword, be in the present moment, but what does that mean to be present? What it means is giving that ego mind a break. And what the ego loves to do is the ego loves to focus on the future and fearing the future and the past, regretting the past. What could I have done different? What could be different? And the truth is that those two places don't exist. The past is gone. The future isn't here yet. All that is here is right now, this moment. And that's where our power is. So if we can use practices like meditation to come into this present moment and to try and shut down our obsessive thinking about what's coming. We don't know what's coming. But if that's where we're spending our time focusing on, we're not drawing from that, deeper place of strength, when we should be using that deeper place to create, to not fear and react to what's happening around us, but to think, what do I really want and how can I create it? So tapping into that authentic self and using that strength and that power once we don't have resistance will change your life. So that's why I do it. And that's why so many people are doing it, because it calms you down. It makes you realize what's important. It teaches you how to be here, to actually be here in your life right now. It's a great way to go to bed, because when you go to bed in that state, your morning is going to be even better and calmer, because you're not, ruefully thinking about what happened during the day or what's going to happen tomorrow. You have released resistance to what is. You have accepted that whatever is meant to be will be. And then even in the hardest situations, that can be the most healing thing, is just acceptance. So let's see if you can do it for one day this week, to do a guided meditation, and let me know how it goes. I hope that I've given you some insight into why meditation and mindset are so important, particularly for moms, right? Because if we just look at what is and how stressful our lives are, and we just focus on that, it can be really debilitating. We've got to lift up out of that into more gratitude, into more presence. And really the doorway to that is through taking care of yourself. Because when you take care of yourself, you don't have the resentment for everyone around you. You've got the energy to deal with them. And meditation is another way you can take care of your mind and your spirit. And it's really important. You have to tend to those things so that you can be better, so everyone else can be better. Okay? I'm thinking so much about everyone. I hope that everyone's finding some good rhythms, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.